So with My Hero Academia being on the verge of ending, I felt like this was a perfect opportunity to do a little retrospective on the whole series and give you guys my thoughts on how I believe the series got worse over time. Because believe it or not, ever since the Sports Festival arc, the series has been on a downward spiral as far as quality writing. Even the Sports Festival arc had writing issues, and that arc is considered to be the best arc in My Hero Academia by most people, including myself. Like for a while now, I've been feeling like My Hero Academia has been only receiving praise because of its potential, more so than what it's already done in this series. Because when the series first started, we were introduced with this concept with a world full of people with quirks. 80% of people have it, 20% of them don't. And now we're introduced to a main character where he's part of that 20% of people who don't have a quirk. So now we have this mindset where we think the main character is finna be on some Batman shit in a way where he's trying to prove to everyone that he can be a great hero while still being quirkless. Hell, Deku didn't even have to be the #1 hero. Shit, not even top 10 or top 25. Just the message in the story that someone can be something as long as they worked hard for it is more than enough. And let me elaborate on that a little bit more, because there's a shit ton of series out there that's already doing that. When I first saw My Hero Academia and I was first introduced to Deku as a character, I was told that this guy was a quirkless loser who wanted to be a great hero even though he didn't have the assets to be a great hero. From that point on, I was excited because I'm like, yo, Horikoshi is finna make Deku Batman. But do I really want Deku to be Batman? No, I was more so excited to see Horikoshi do creative things for this character to become a great hero. Not that he had to be Batman specifically, but to be a character who put the work in so he could become a greater hero than the people who told him he couldn't be a great hero. Like, looking back on it now, why was Deku taking notes on other people's quirks if he weren't going to use those notes and do something with them? Like me personally, I felt like Deku should have been more like Hasame in the fact that he should have been able to create some gadgets to make it seem like he had a quirk. You know, sort of like Iron Man or Spider-Man when he was creating gadgets for his spider suit. But instead, we were given this half-assed thing where Deku receives one of the best quirks in the whole series from one of the world's best heroes. And that really doesn't do anything for his character because it's limiting all his chances of actually growing and developing as a character. Like throughout the whole series of My Hero Academia, Deku hasn't really developed that much with One For All. Like, he learned Full Cow, and then after that, it took him a minute just to learn how to kick. But other than that, it just felt like Horikoshi ran out of ways to be unique with Deku. And I would not be surprised if that's why Horikoshi gave Deku 8 quirks, because he wanted to make Deku more unique as a character and not more like All Might. But then again, you're also creating a problem because you're creating less tension in the series by having your main character walk around with this OP ass power. Like, other than Shigaraki on All For One, who is really a threat to Deku? Like, this dude has all 8 quirks damn near unlocked. Like, this dude is a walking beast. Another issue that I have with the series is the fact that they don't really put Deku through enough situations to make him realize that his mindset on being a hero is all fucked up. Like, just because you think you're doing something right doesn't necessarily mean you're doing something right. Like, for example, when him and Mirio was trying to help Eri for the first time from Overhaul, like, Deku's intentions were right in trying to save Eri, but if he was to follow through with that plan, him and Mirio would have got fucked up in that alley and Eri would have never got caught or brought back to UA High School. Deku needs to learn the pros and cons of being a hero and the circumstances of actually making decisions as a hero. Like, Deku leaving UA High School literally made no sense considering that he went back to the damn school the minute his classroom came to get him. Like, Deku probably thought he was doing the good thing by leaving UA High School so that Shigaraki and All For One wouldn't attack the school, but what he was actually doing was making it harder for the school because they didn't know where he was. Like, if Shigaraki and All For One really wanted to, they could have held the school up for hostage and made Deku come back there anyway. Which leads me to the next issue I have with this series, the villains. Now, the villains in My Hero Academia are whack as hell. All For One and Shigaraki are easily some of the most cookie cutter villains in Shonen Jump history. Like, they're all destruction with no ideals. Like, I think it was even a moment where All For One literally hinted at himself being the villain because he was inspired by a comic book, which is fucking ridiculous. And Shigaraki, his ideals and his motives are just fucking petty, right? Like, he just wants destruction because no one helped him when he needed help. And it's like, dude, a little bit of therapy will easily fix your situation. And not just for Shigaraki, shit, the whole League of Villains, Toga, Dabi, twice. Like, these characters don't have to be doing the things that they're doing. Like, Toga, she's literally a villain because she got bullied out of high school. Dabi, he's just trying to get back at his dad, but then after you read Endeavor's backstory, you find out that Endeavor was actually trying to help Dabi because Dabi's quirk doesn't really allow him to go full power because he burns himself. It's like, the League of Villains makes no sense. The fucking All For One and Shigaraki tandem, that shit's not making no sense. It's like, the villains just are bad in My Hero Academia. They don't have no legit goals whatsoever. Like, they don't even have their plans planned out right. Like, they don't have their ducks in a row or anything just in case they do end up taking over the hero world. Like, it's just all dysfunctional all over the place. The only villain in that series that actually has a good reason for doing the stuff that they're doing is Stain. And that's only because he wants to expose to people out there who's using heroism for fame and money. But it's just not the villains that suck in this fucking show. It's damn near the whole cast of characters. Class 1A, they fucking suck. Class 1B, fucking trash. The only good characters in UA High School is Mirio and Monoma. Anyone else, I don't give a shit about. And that's not because I personally hate them, but just look at what Horikoshi has done to their characters. Let's look at the big five. Ida, Uraraka, Bakugo, Todoroki, and Deku. What has Ida done since the whole Stain altercation? Absolutely fucking nothing. What has Uraraka done since the Bakugo fight? Absolutely fucking nothing. Oh wait, that's right. She stood up for Deku and gave a speech on the intercom. Congratulations, Uraraka. You finally did something useful after 200 plus fucking chapters. Now what you're gonna do? Crawl right back in between Deku's ass cheeks because you're not gonna do nothing but kiss his ass from this point on until you fight Toga or some shit. Todoroki? Bruh. Todoroki is still trying to convince us that the reason why his house is so fucked up is because of Endeavor, when in actuality, his mom is to blame for fucking everything. She poured boiling water in his fucking face. She let Dabi smoke himself to an oblivion. She came into a marriage when she didn't even have to. So it's like, dude, why are you still trying to convince me that all of this is Endeavor's fault when your mom is the sole reason why everything is fucked up in your house? And not just that, but if you take the family issues away from Todoroki's character, his character is as bland as a fucking sheet of paper. His personality is as bland as a bowl of fucking oatmeal without no cinnamon. This nigga is cereal without milk. Like, there's no other way to put it. This character fucking blows. As for Bakugo, I used to like him. Now I don't because they keep fucking up his character. Like, instead of Horikoshi making it to where Bakugo comes to the realization that he's not the only special person in the world, that there's actually other people in his school and classroom that has a better quirk than him and a better hero mindset than him, no, he decides to make this a Deku exclusive thing. So much so that they retcon Bakugo's character and his backstory. Now you're telling me the only reason why Bakugo was bullying Deku was because he thought Deku was a better hero than him this whole time? No, bitch, you were bullying Deku because you were being a bully. You threw Deku's notebook out the window because you were being a bully. You told Deku to kill himself because you were being a bully. Like, let's call shit for what it is. You jumped Deku when you were like 6 years old because you were being a bully. Like, let's stop trying to make it seem like Bakugo had a justified reason for doing the shit he was doing. Like, you wasn't doing it because you couldn't take it anymore. You couldn't take the sight of seeing Deku walk in front of you as he was becoming a better hero than you. No, it was none of that corny ass shit. You was doing it because you was being the asshole, alright? How about owning up to your shit and actually apologizing, saying, hey, I did some fucked up shit. I'm sorry. Instead of you just trying to make it seem like you had a justified reason for why you was doing all that fucked up shit. Like, it comes off forced as hell, and to prove my point, about 3 chapters later, Deku calls him out for being phony as hell. Like, Bakugo is literally trying to force himself to call Deku by his first name, and Deku was like, yo, Kachan, you don't have to force yourself to be nice to me. So if he's saying this shit, then what the fuck is going on? I already said what I had to say about Deku, but as far as the rest of Class 1A, bruh, each one of them motherfuckers get one moment and then they're never touched on ever again. Like, can someone please tell me what the fuck is up with Sero? Like, I didn't even know the motherfucker's name until I did the research for this video. Like, can someone tell me what does he like to do other than sling duct tapes out of his fucking elbows? And it's not just Class 1A, it's the fucking heroes as well. Besides All Might, Endeavor, and Hawks, can anyone else tell me anything about the other pro heroes? Like, it's fucked up that I have to read the My Hero Academia Vigilantes manga in order to get the Aizawa backstory. By the way, the My Hero Academia Vigilantes manga is way better than the actual My Hero Academia manga. You know why? Because they actually focus on the world building of My Hero Academia. They tell us about the laws within My Hero Academia. They tell us how poor neighborhoods are affected by the hero society in My Hero Academia. They tell us about how people want to be heroes but they can't because they're limited by the law in My Hero Academia. Like, they're doing everything that My Hero Academia should be doing in their manga. They focus more on their characters better than My Hero Academia. Shit, the characters in My Hero Academia Vigilantes are better than the characters in My Hero Academia. Shit, you can get the whole backstory of Mirko, Aizawa, Fat Gum, and the rest of them in the fucking Vigilantes manga. Like, how the fuck is the side story more interesting than the main story? Like, the main character Koichi is literally what Deku should have been in My Hero Academia. But nope, Horikoshi fucked that up because he wanted to give the main character one of the most OP quirks in the whole fucking series. And what has that done for the show? Nothing at all, but put Deku and Shigaraki in this unlimited circle of who could be the strongest by the end of the series. And let me make this clear, if it's anyone else besides Deku beating Shigaraki, there's gonna be a fucking problem. If Eri ends up beating All For One and Shigaraki, there's gonna be a fucking problem. If Deku and Class 1A team up and give Shigaraki and All For One a power of friendship beatdown, then that's really gonna be a fucking problem. Now, one of the final things I wanted to address in this video as far as the issues with My Hero Academia is the world building. Now, this is something that I stated plenty of times in my other videos regarding My Hero Academia. I feel like My Hero Academia doesn't really do a good job in telling us about the world of My Hero Academia. For the most part, it's just them telling us something about the world and they never expound on it. For example, in season 2 when Gran Torino and Deku was going to a specific site for Deku's training, Gran Torino said that due to the low populations in some areas, they don't get that much crime. But the highly populated areas, they get a lot of crime because that's where it's most active. Now, a lot of people gonna be like, okay, what's wrong with that statement? He's addressing the world building. Yes, he is, but he's not really answering enough questions within that statement because there's more questions to be asked in that statement. Why are you and Deku going to an oversaturated area if you're trying to find work? Being in an oversaturated area is going to make it harder for you to find work. It then has me asking the question, how do hero businesses survive in oversaturated areas? It must be hard to find work if you have other heroes opening their businesses in the same area where it's overpopulated. So then it has me questioning the economy in My Hero Academia because now I'm trying to see how much a dollar is worth, because what makes you want to sit over here in this oversaturated area where you're not getting that much work versus an area that really doesn't have that much crime, but at the same time you're able to find work because there's not that many heroes down there because they're too busy occupying the overpopulated areas. Like, no matter where you go, are the wages going to be the same? And then it has me asking another question. Why is it that the villains go to the overpopulated area where there's going to be a lot of heroes versus an area that's not going to have that many heroes at all, if any? Like, now I'm getting into the psyche of the villains, and they don't explain any of this shit at all. And for those out there who are confused when I was talking about the heroes' businesses being in oversaturated areas, well, think of it like this. Imagine McDonald's, Burger King, Chick-fil-A, and Five Guys being in the same neighborhood versus one of those restaurants just going to an area where it's just them by themselves and they don't have to worry about no competition. There you go. But that's not the only example of bad world building in My Hero Academia. In the recent arcs, they've been sending students out to a war to fight on the battlefield because they had a shortage on heroes, which had me asking the question, how is it that you come from season 2 where you're oversaturated with heroes to now in season 5 where you have a shortage on heroes? And keep in mind also, Deku is still in his first year. His first work study with Gran Torino wasn't that long ago. So what happens within this timeline that makes it to where you have too much to too little? And Midnight asks this question, but guess what? They completely ignored the shit. Don't believe me? Here's the clip.
The Public Safety Commission is now requesting that all Hero Corps students get in-the-field training again.
Requesting? Are they ordering us to send these kids out?
Yes.
Does this say we're somehow shorthanded when it comes to pros? I thought there was an oversaturation of us.
future heroes must learn to deal with the recent increase in villainous organizations.
But how much did they increase though? Was it to the point where you had to send 16-year-olds out to a fucking battlefield? Like y'all have no statistics on this shit whatsoever. Y'all just going off of a hunch that Hawks gave y'all. But fuck it, let's just say that there is more villains than heroes. Why the fuck aren't y'all prepared for this kind of shit? Like, did y'all not ever think it was gonna get to this point where the villains was gonna try to overpower the heroes? Like, where the fuck is y'all military base? Like, please don't tell me that in a series of My Hero Academia, these motherfuckers do not have a military base for when they have to go to war. And then y'all wonder why I shit on the world building so much. Like, do these motherfuckers even have a United Nations? Like, how is it that All For One can go around the world recruiting people, but y'all can't even recruit people for a fucking military base? Like, is y'all world building that ass? Y'all have to rely on movie characters to come save y'all ass. And let me just say this now, if you're ever in a situation as a mangaka and you have to incorporate the movie characters in with the main storyline characters, then let me tell you, your world building fucking sucks. You should never have to include the movie characters in your main storyline because it creates a whole bunch of problems within your story. The movies become canon and then you create a whole bunch of plot holes within your series. There are over 126 million people living in Japan right now. You're telling me that out of 126 million people, you couldn't come up with at least 20,000 heroes? The Paranormal Liberation Front only has at best 17,000 villains. You couldn't even do that? And fuck it, let's add the 80% to the 126 million. That's still 100,800,000. You're telling me that you can at least get 20,000 heroes from that amount of people living in Japan? And My Hero Academia takes place in Japan. Like, if you don't get the fuck out of here. Now I'm gonna end this video right here because I don't want to make this video too long and editing is a bitch. But trust me, if I really wanted to, I could have went a whole nother 10 minutes just on the world building alone. Shit, the Hero Association? You talking about damn near another video. I could go damn near 30 minutes on that alone. Why My Hero Academia doesn't expand on the Hero Association is beyond me, because clearly they're doing some crooked shit over there. But that's pretty much all I really have to say for now. I guess you can call this My Hero Academia is Overrated Part 2, because the series does get worse over time. Like, it gets really fucking bad. Like, right now in the current arc, it's a fucking mess. Stars and Stripes, she's on the verge of getting beat by Shigaraki despite her having a broken ass quirk. Like, this chick literally told Shigaraki if he moved, he dies. Guess what happens? Shigaraki moves and nothing happens. The motherfucker gets another power up. So it's like, whatever the fuck, Horikoshi, do whatever the fuck you want to do with your manga. I'm through. But that's all I have to say, man. It's your boy Trigger Senpai, and I'm out, man. Peace.